My Japanese friend has been attacked hundreds of times by strangers in Japan. Yes, hundreds of times. By complete strangers, in public places, with people all around. Here are the attacks she remembers. Age 7, on a train, morning rush hour. A man put his exposed penis on her shoulder. She tried to move, but she couldn't. The train was too crowded. Age 12, on a train, someone touched her butt. Age 16, while walking to the station, a man chased her and showed her his penis and said, "Look at this." Age 17, walking on the street, a man grabbed her waist and kept holding her, talking to her, saying he would pay her money if she, quote, used her mouth. Age 17, inside a building, a man reached into her shirt and grabbed her breasts. Age 17, on a train, morning rush hour. A man with a long coat pulled out his penis. He pulled up her skirt and ejaculated on her. Age 16 to 18, every day on the train, she was touched by a businessman going to work or by university students. Some of her friends also got assaulted on this train. She had to change train lines and take a longer commute. Age 22, now working at a hospital as a nurse. She was taking the blood pressure of a patient and he grabbed her butt and her breasts. Age 22, while a patient was laying down and she was changing their pillow, he pulled her into his body and was forcefully hugging her. Age 22, while prepping a patient for surgery, she had to shave his pubic hair. The patient began moving his waist and he ejaculated on her face and on her clothes. Age 22, her hospital surgery department went out for dinner. Later at karaoke, a doctor reached into her shirt and grabbed her breasts. Other women and doctors saw this. They did nothing to help her. She said, "Please help." Nobody did anything. Age 24, now working as a nurse at a different hospital. A doctor grabbed her and kissed her by force. Age 29, at another hospital, she was grabbed by a doctor. There were other times she was followed or having her pictures taken, situations that made her scared. Japan's attackers are fearless and brazen because risk and repercussions are small. Do you know anyone who has been sexually assaulted every day by strangers in public? Where were they? What country were they in? Tell me in the comments below. In this video, I'll reveal something only Japanese people know. That's the widespread and accepted practice of sexual assault in Japan. Why is it so common in Japan? To understand this question, let's go back to my friend. Most of her attacks were when she was 7 to 18 years old. Most happened on crowded trains during daytime hours. She was attacked every day on trains during high school. But she has also been attacked at work by doctors and by patients at 3 different hospitals working as a nurse. None of her attacks involved alcohol, at least by her. She has never drank alcohol. She wore a school uniform during her school years. She believes this is why she was attacked, because she fulfilled a Japanese sexual fantasy. Other Japanese women told me the same thing. Another woman was ejaculated on while sitting on a train during daytime hours, and she was an adult. She was not wearing a school uniform. A third woman told me she was sexually assaulted twice in Saitama Prefecture where she grew up. One time at a bookstore and another time on the street. This is Japanese culture. Japan is a society of rape and sexual assault. Japan is a nation of unruly perverts. Japan is portrayed as safe and polite. It is not. It is not safe. It is very dangerous. A Japanese researcher of Japan's sexual assault culture recalls when she was in elementary school, A teacher hugged and kissed her all the time. She said it happened to all the girls all the time. Only when she moved to France did she realize it was not normal. She said almost all women in Japan go through such situations and at all age groups. Japan is only safe if you are a Japanese male. If you are a female, you could be assaulted anytime by anyone, strangers or by people you know. How bad is Japan for females? Until August of 2023, the age for sexual consent in Japan was just 13 years old. It was the lowest in the developed world. This only changed in August 2023. Why did Japan set this age so low, and why didn't they change it sooner? This law was created in 1907 because female life expectancy in Japan in 1907 was 44 years old. Okay, but life expectancy in Japan increased for females like 100 years ago, so... Japan kept the age at 13 for 120 years longer so men could continue pedophilia via paid prostitution with young girls. Here's where Japan's compensated dating, or enjo kosai, enters the chat. Enjo kosai is when older men offer young girls money for sex. Now it is called papakatsu, but it's the same thing. Males in Japan pretend this is a form of relationship. So this pedophilia prostitution culture gets a pass in Japan. Kosai means relationship in Japanese. Papakatsu means dad relationship. A 56-year-old man with money is in a relationship with a 14-year-old Japanese girl. Welcome to Japan. Their relationship consists of having sex for money one time, then never meeting again. So, compensated pedophilia. The patriarchal assumption of enjo kosai is that the girls are the problem, not men. The girls were asking for it, it is assumed. Whatever it is. Sounds like men looking for an excuse to abuse females. So, compensated child abuse? Welcome to Japan's misogynistic nightmare. Remember my friend who was sexually assaulted all those times? When she was in junior high school, some of her friends were doing compensated dating at age 13, 14, and 15. And they all went to an expensive private school. These were not poor girls, they were girls from wealthy families. Do you consider yourself to be in a relationship with someone who is 13 to 17 years old? And you are 50 or 60 years old? Tell me in the comments below. In a sexual assault study, 50% of victims were under 15 years old when they were assaulted, and about 20% were younger than 10 years old. 20% younger than 10. What? Victims don't report their assaults. Police essentially don't investigate them, and there are almost no prosecutions. And remember, prostitution is illegal in Japan, but only if you walk into a police station and tell them you are paying this 15-year-old girl who you walked in with money for sex. Oh, and she also has to confirm it. Outside of that, everything is totally okay in Japan. No problem.
ねえねえ、みゆがパパ活アプリ始めたらしいよ。マジで？1回やっただけで5000円もらえたんだって。5000円？
And where does all this illegal prostitution, abuse, and pedophilia happen? At anonymous love hotels, Japan's crime destination. A UNESCO World Heritage rape, sexual assault, and infidelity. Japan's love hotels exist for two reasons: for cheating and illegal activity. Japanese people have sex at home like everyone else. There are also normal hotels in Japan, but they have a front desk, so they can see if you are with a 13 to 17-year-old girl. There is no reason for love hotels in Japan except for bad things. And for bad things, you need 100% anonymity, which love hotels offer. Love hotels are anonymous. You never see staff. That's the point. It's all private and all automated. At many love hotels, you can drive your car into a private garage with its own closing door, which leads to your private room. The perfect crime. No one would ever see who's going in. The most common form of sexual assault is groping and touching, both over and under clothes, reported by 64% of victims. And 15% are men ejaculating on, kissing, or masturbating near victims. If you are a Japanese female, you will probably be sexually assaulted in Japan. This is your cultural birthright. The only way to prevent this is to never be around males. If sexual assaults were counted correctly, Japan would be one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Will new laws that started in August 2023 change Japan? Not likely. The new laws encourage victims to come forward. That's it. The mechanisms after that are ambiguous, and prosecution without evidence will remain a big challenge. Mechanisms are purposefully ambiguous to placate to activists and victims, while preserving Japan's sexual assault culture. Japan cares a lot about its international reputation. They need to pretend to be a modern nation with similar laws as others. But it's just kabuki, because above everything else, Japanese men want illegal prostitution with young girls. So don't expect much honesty from Japan's sexual assault posturing. In 2023, Japan ranked 125th out of 146 countries in the global gender gap. Women do not matter in Japan. Now you know the truth about Japan's sexual assault culture. Would you be comfortable being a Japanese female in Japan? Tell me in the comments below. There are many variables feeding this problem in Japan. In future videos, I will attempt to explain why all this happens. It is not just compensated pedophilia and compensated abuse. Compensated relationships. Thanks for watching.